pride, grace, and beauty. Mature trees shaded large yards. Roses bloomed in colorful hope, and lawns were neatly kept with clean edge lines. This was the type of street where people cared. These were the types of homes where doors were left unlocked. It was the kind of place where no one anticipated anything bad ever happening to them and theirs. Fools. All of them. As I half-rolled, half-dragged the reluctant suitcase, I collected bits of information from the crowd gathered, flutters of words caught on the wind, dispatched by sincerity and sympathy and fellowship. A human bone, if I ever saw one. Early this morning, sinkhole near the gazing pool. Took almost 60 damn years, but still. May she now rest in peace. I took a moment to wonder about the woman who'd been missing for so long and how she'd come to rest in the garden. I felt a twinge of sympathy, empathy for a person I'd never known, and a surge of camaraderie for this neighborhood, which on first glance had looked picture perfect. But now I knew I'd fit in here just fine. Hickory Lane had a dark past. Just like me. "Needing some help, miss?" a deep voice asked. Up a brick walkway, a man stood on the top step of a wraparound porch, his shoulder resting against a wooden column, his arms folded, his curious gaze narrowed on me. The house, 5 Hickory Lane, was a large cottage, painted pale gray-green with creamy trim, the colors perfect for a community like Sweetgrass, a speck on a map alongside Mobile Bay, just north of Fairhope. The cottage's only visible flaw was in the emerald green grass, where a half-dozen or so shallowly dug holes marred an otherwise lovely lawn. I took quick stock of my new neighbor. Inquisitive, I instantly surmised, noting to keep my distance from him. In my world, inquisitive meant dangerous. He was especially more so, because he didn't look like a threat on the surface. I guessed him to be early to mid-30s, and he stood a bit taller than average, with shoulder-length sandy brown hair, a high forehead, slightly off-center nose, deep tan, and 5 o'clock shadow that was just a hint lighter than his hair color. His lanky body was dressed in jeans and a tight white t-shirt. His feet were bare. With the easy, breezy way he leaned against the porch column, everything about him screamed that he was comfortable in his own skin. Confident. Approachable. Maybe for others he was, but I knew better. I pegged him as some kind of law enforcement straight off. Criminals, even somewhat reformed ones, had a sixth sense too. On the porch next to his feet, a white shepherd watched me with bright brown eyes, and I suspected I'd found the source of the strange holes in the lawn. A faded, ratty green tennis ball was in its long mouth, and a furry tail thumped loudly against the porch's floorboards. The dog's friendly gaze was the first bit of welcoming warmth I'd felt since arriving, and it melted away some of the ice-cold dread that had followed me southbound. I lifted my chin and forced myself to meet the man's questioning gaze. "I'm looking for Glory Wynn's house?" Something that looked like suspicion flared in his eyes, but he shuttered it quickly, instantly revealing that he was used to and good at hiding his thoughts. Slowly, he uncurled his arm and pointed toward the heart of the cul-de-sac. "The middle house." I could practically hear his thoughts as he sized me up, much as I'd done to him. What he saw was trouble, plain and simple. He wasn't entirely wrong. I squinted against the sunlight at the house that felt like it was still a half-mile away. "The white one?" "Yes, ma'am." "Thanks kindly." I smiled as innocently as I could. My mother always said a smile was one of the best weapons of distraction. She had deployed it religiously. Giving the dog a wistful glance, I pushed on, threading through the people who'd collected on the sidewalk to gawk and gather gossip, hoarding it with the thoroughness of birds lovingly collecting twigs for nesting. These people were my new neighbors, and I was grateful that they were too occupied with being busybodies to pay me much mind. It had been a